Om Shanti, good evening, and a very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning with us for our tonight's talk, Creating a Sacred Space. As the daily crisis in the life, the stress is increasing. And during this pandemic time, the protection, like the physical protection, like masks, social distancing has been created or introduced to us. So in the similar way, what are we doing to protect our mind, our inner being? How can we create those vibrations within the self from the vibrations of self-sorrow and sadness that has been created during this pandemic time? So to help us and give us some thoughts and ideas on this, we have a very special guest speaker with us, Sister Meera from Malaysia. A very warm welcome, Sister Meera, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Sister Meera has been practicing Raj Yoga meditation since 1968 after completion of her Bachelor of Science degree from India. At the present, she is the director of Brahma Kumari centers in Malaysia. She has traveled to more than 50 countries and has the art to communicate in a simple, easy, and effective way with all levels of people. Once again, a very warm welcome, Sister Meera.
Thank you.
To start the session, before we start the session, I would like to request you all to pause for a minute and request Sister Meera to guide us through. Thank you.
Om Shanti and greetings of peace to everyone.
Meera, Sister Meera, we can't hear you.
Oh, no, I mean, the sound here is okay. My sound is okay.
We can't hear you.
I don't know, it must be your system because this one Friday talk, this one is not muted. The sound is not muted. It's unmuted.
No.
Friday talk, Harrow.
There is some technical problem, I think. We can't hear you.
No, I am okay.
Now we could. Again it went.
Okay. It's okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay now?
Now.
Now it's okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Oh. Om Shanti and greetings of peace to everyone. Let us spend a few seconds turning our mind within and create inner oasis of peace so that we are able to prepare our minds to be receptive, to absorb and practice what we hear. I allow my mind to sit comfortably, my body to sit comfortably, and I allow all the sounds and noise to fade away at a distance. I turn my mind within. I can feel inner peace, inner quiet, in that inwardness. I keep this quietness, stillness, so that I am able to concentrate and absorb and energize myself for the rest of the session. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Meera, for taking us through that space, that quietness. To start with the subject of creating a sacred space, it is very much linked in my mind to nurturing self-nurturing. So according to you, what do you really mean by creating a sacred space? What is the definition of creating a sacred space?
Before I define sacred space, I just want to ask the audience, who is the most important person in your life? You would say, it's me. For each one of us, we are the most important people. So next question is that how much time do you give to yourself? How much time do you spend dialoguing with yourself? We always keep this agenda as the last item in our life, and we never reach there. And because we have been so busy attending to all external things, we have neglected ourselves. And that is why we don't know ourselves, who we are. All other people around me know me, but I don't know myself. So it is high time now to get to know myself so that I can be myself when I am with other people around me. So I will not be affected by their comments, what they say about me, because I already know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I define sacred space as a private time and energy that I give to myself to be with myself alone. It's an exclusive time and energy I give to myself. That's what I was saying, that we have not done that in our life. We have been always thinking about outside, thinking of helping people, but we have not done that. So that is why nowadays we hear this a lot from people. Leave me alone. I want space for myself. Which means that they want to be with themselves, talk to themselves, listen to themselves, and be themselves instead of pretending somebody else to be them. So that's what I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Meera. As you said that how much time do we really spend with ourselves, talking to ourselves? Yeah, that's true. And I can resonate to myself that, yeah, very little time we are nowadays spending with our own self. So also you mentioned that who really I am, I don't know that. So when you say that, what do you mean? Like, who am I? I know my name, I know my job, my profession, what I am doing, I know that. So what does it mean really when you say that?
So that is the reason we need to talk to ourselves, analyze. Because when you are in silence, inside yourself, nobody talking to you, not listening to anyone, you can listen to your inner voice very clearly. Mm. So I need to ask myself this question, who am I really? Say, for example, when I introduce myself to others, what are the things I tell them? This is what you need to do in that space, What do I tell them really? I may tell them my name, my occupation, my age, my relationship. So I go deeper into that space and see, is that all me? These are all the labels connected with me. Is there anything more than that I can think of about myself? So in that silent space, when you are with yourself alone, nobody saying anything to you, you begin to feel another layer deep within you. that is made up of feelings, emotions, thoughts, memories. So all these subtle aspects of me is non-physical. I cannot touch them. I cannot see them with my eyes. I cannot smell them, but it is always there. And it influences everything that I do in my life. And all these subtle aspects, emotions, thoughts, feelings, memories, are all contained in a very tiny point of energy, like atom. You know, atom is made up of three things: proton, neutron, and electrons. So I am mind, intellect, and subconsciousness. So this self-realization becomes very obvious when we begin to look at ourselves in the mirror of knowledge. That realization comes very easily. So the answer to the question what you asked, who am I? So I am that living energy with mind, intellect, and subconsciousness. So this body is only an instrument to express my mind, my emotions, my thoughts. It's an instrument that is non-physical, and this is physical.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Meera. I like the concept when you say that I am that point of light or that energy. But how can I increase the experience of that? Because in today's time, so much chaos going around us in this pandemic time, there is so much fear and anxiety. Although people are getting a lot of time, they are at home, but still the chaos outside is creating upheaval within as well. So how do I find that space, that quietness to sit with myself and increase the experience of the point of light or the energy?
See, what I need to do with myself is to teach myself to slow down in my speed of thinking. What is happening today in our life is we are thinking too much and too fast. As a result of that, we are losing energy and we are becoming scared, fear, stress. And so what I need to do is every now and then, I turn my mind within and I keep asking this question to myself, who am I? And in that silent space, I become aware that I am that living energy, the soul, a positive energy, eternal, imperishable, immortal. So the moment I begin to focus my thoughts on my real self, you can see the magic that is happening. The speed of thoughts slowly becomes slow, and the quality of thoughts become positive. And that is what we call meditation. Meditation is not stopping the mind to think, but it is right use of my mind. I use my mind in a positive direction. And so even though we are surrounded by negativity around us, but I can go into my private room. Each one of us have a private room, what I call it as introversion. You know, when you turn within, when you become introvert, that is the space you create for yourself. And every now and then I go into that space and I begin to contemplate. Contemplation means thinking in a systematic way, teaching myself to think in a disciplined way. So I begin to feel peace, because peace is not somewhere outside of us. Peace is one thought away, one thought away. Just change your consciousness towards yourself and you find peace. You don't need to go anywhere. I think that is why people are asking for space, because they want to find the peace. They want to be with themselves. They want to be at peace with themselves. But of course, we can practice this even in the midst of chaos once you got used to the right method.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as you said that people are saying that I need my space. Yeah, they always refer to that. But if our physical space is like cluttered or congested, and we say our own space, but our ancestors, they never asked or demanded their own space. So why in this time that we always hear and even we say that I need my space, give me some space? So why is that?
I think here what I mean is I have lived with many Westerners in this, Rajyogi life, and I have heard them saying that also. That means that, they feel like they should be left alone by themselves, so that they can think and sort out things for themselves. And so that is why they ask for some space. So it is not connected with the physical dimension at all. Even if you have a very congested house, many people living in that small house, each one can find sacred place for themselves. All that they need to do is they should have the hobby, special interest to withdraw from the world outside and go within every now and then, like a tortoise. See, tortoise has the speciality, when it is functioning, it will put its organs out. And when it is in danger, it will withdraw its organs. They say even if an elephant walks on the tortoise, it doesn't even affect that. It is like a rock. So we need to practice that power to withdraw, turn our mind within, turn our sense organs within, and be ourselves. Because see, what is happening today is we are not real self, because we are playing different roles during the day, putting on different masks, and we don't know who we are at the end of the day. So that is why people say, I want some space to know myself. Who am I really? Because they are confused, playing so many roles. Finally, who am I? And that is what they ask for: silence. Silence means physical, of course, internal silence, where the mind is quiet. So sometimes you may have external quietness. The outside is very quiet, but your inside is very noisy. That is not called sacred place. But sometimes you could be in a market, you could be in a home with 10 people, somebody playing television, somebody playing music, somebody using mobile. But at the same time, you can find your sacred place. You can find your quiet place. How? You know the art of detachment. You know the art of withdrawing yourself. So that is why spirituality is important to learn, because it teaches you how to be detached and loving like a lotus flower. So if you know to do that, you will not ask for a separate place physically. It is not a physical space that you need to worry about. It is each one of us have a private room that we need to reach out. We have not done that. That is why I said in the beginning, we have neglected ourselves, and we have not given time to ourselves. So that is why, as we are growing, this need is now being felt. I must go to my space and see myself. Who am I really? Where I have come from? And why I am here? The purpose of my existence. These are the things people would like to discover in that sacred place.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really like the point that you shared about the tortoise, that he withdraws all his organs within when he sees the danger. Yeah, something to really practice and become like. Okay, Sister Meera, I would like to ask you, like we can hire or buy a space or a land or offices or flats, but what makes a space sacred?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. It is not the four walls. It is not the poshy house, that makes the space sacred. There are five main things that is very important to fill the atmosphere with that sacredness. Like, for example, when you go to a temple or a church or a mosque, nobody asks you to bow your head. Nobody asks you to say some sacred words through your mouth. But the space is created, atmosphere is such, even a small child will begin to do without being taught. And so to make an ordinary place a sacred place, so we need, first of all, we need to have a kind of purity in our thoughts, words, and actions. Because purity can be on two levels: external cleanliness and also internal cleanliness. Because what makes the place sacred, what makes a person sacred, is this internal purity and external purity. That's why Mahatma Gandhi also said, simple living and high thinking. So the first important ingredient to make a place sacred is the purity that we practice in our life. And second thing is, very important, is our routine. What is your routine? Because it can be in a household, there is no timetable, there is no routine. Everybody will do what they like. They sleep at the time of eating, eat at the time of sleeping. There is no routine. But if I really want to create a sacred place, I need to create a timetable, discipline, in one word. Discipline, what time I should get up, what time I should pray, what time I should eat, what time I should sleep. So if you have discipline, that would help. And the third important thing is that my attitude, very, very important to create an atmosphere. So I have to make sure I hold the positive value of each and every person with whom I live with, so that I emit positive vibration into the atmosphere. It's like an air freshener. You don't tell people you have used the rose air freshener, but when people enter the place, they say, wow, rose smelling very nice. So when I have that practice of holding the potential positivity of everyone in my attitude works like an air freshener. It emits pure vibration, spiritual vibration, where people, as soon as they come in, they feel light, they feel relaxed, they feel rested, they feel welcome. And the fourth important thing is words. They say even the walls have ears, they say. What you speak with each other, the walls can also absorb. What it means is the words I utter between each other when we talk, that also echoes in the atmosphere. And that is why to create a sacred place, we have to make sure we talk softly, we talk sweetly, we talk respectfully, you know. And the last thing, of course, we need to make sure that, we keep the place physically also clean. Because the physical cleanliness, towards some extent, reflects the inner cleanliness of the soul. So all these 5 ingredients together make an ordinary space a sacred space. And for me personally, if I want to create a space within myself sacred, I have to pay attention to 5 things. Because, it is connected with emotional immunity. And so what I see, what I think, what I hear, what I smell, and what I read. These 5 things are very important to keep my inner space sacred, because it affects your inner space and your emotions are not balanced. There is always emotional imbalance that creates a lot of havoc in one's life.
Yes, very rightly said. Thank you. Very beautifully you have explained like how I can be or how can I create the space as a sacred space. You mentioned something about routine to create a discipline in the life. So many people nowadays, when they are working night shifts, working late hours at night. So how can they create a routine or a discipline in their life? Because then daytimes they have to rest. So how can it be adjusted in their routine, or what can they do?
It is possible. We have, even in our centers, we have brothers and sisters. Some of them are musicians, some of them are actors, and their work is always at night. They come quite late, but they know their routine. And so, knowing their routine, they create their timetable. Like, for example, I was in Australia with some film, musicians and actors also. And I used to see them, they will come at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's our time for meditation at 4 o'clock. So what they used to do is that they will come, have a shower, and then meditate, read the Murli, and then they go to sleep. So in that way, they did not feel guilty of missing the routine, And then, of course, when they get up, they will start following the routine as it is. When we have traffic control, when we have meditation in the evening. So we need to be a little bit smart to understand our routine, our duties, and then according to the body's necessity, we have to create a timetable. So in that way, we will not feel guilty we are missing out anything. But first thing very important is discipline. If you are a disciplined person, the benefit is you enjoy real freedom. That's my experience. Discipline is the key to real freedom. Because people are not disciplined today, they increase the burden of their work even more. Those people who are not disciplined, they always procrastinate. And when you keep on procrastinating things, you will pile up the work. and then you feel so heavy about it. So I should keep clearing off. Don't pile up. Don't procrastinate. So you need to plan your day. You must have discipline in your life.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Meera. Also, you mentioned about attitude. So how attitude and nature is different? How can you differentiate?
Actually, attitude an aspect of mind. Attitude is mental outlook. Attitude is created on the basis of your thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and plus feelings is equal to attitude. So as is your attitude, so will be the vibration you emit. And as is your vibration, so is the atmosphere. So attitude is an aspect of the mind. But the nature is something that we have created on the basis of our action. All the actions that we perform at the present time, you call it habit. Sometimes people call nature, sometimes you habit. So how a habit is formed? By performing a repeated action. When you repeat any action, that becomes your nature, habit. And so before I create a habit, I should always use my intellect. Before I perform action, I must make sure that action is a good action. That is why we have an intellect faculty to see right and wrong. But if I don't use my intellect, I just do emotionally, and that nature, that habit gets stronger and stronger. So nature is connected with my action, attitude is connected with my mind.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Also, you mentioned while you were sharing that students in your center, they come and then they read their Moodly and traffic control. So what is Moodly and traffic control all about?
See, in Raj Yoga centers, we have created a system to help people to get into their space every now and then. Because otherwise we wake up in the morning, we are going like a machine. Non-stop machine, one thing after the other. And we found that we must have a space in between. We must stop. Just like, when you are driving the car, why do they have traffic lights? So that the traffic can be organized, isn't it? Otherwise, it will be chaos. So there is a lot of traffic in my mind. So we decided to create what is called traffic control. So traffic control is a method to discipline my thoughts. Just like you have red light, you stop the car. So we have certain kind of music that we play. So as soon as that song comes, now we know it is traffic time. Stop. Stop means other thoughts go within, go to your inner room of introversion. Become aware of who you are, whose child you are, for 1 minute, sometimes 3 minutes. So we practice this during the day many times. So that gives an inner space for us. And you feel very relaxed. You can just be yourself, your true self, enjoy your company. Not many people know how to enjoy their own company. And that is why they feel lonely, But this space that we create for ourselves, even if you are alone, you don't feel lonely. That is the magic. You can be alone. You have a lot of space for you, but still you feel isolated. Isolation is separate from being alone. You can be alone, but not feel lonely. That means you are enjoying your company. So we must try that, otherwise we are always looking out for people's company, looking out for people's approval, looking out for people's comments. No need. I know myself better than anybody else, because I, the soul, I am in this body the longest time. Other people came in contact with me after I was born. I, the soul, I am with this body since I was born. So I know me better. But then this space is necessary for me to know myself so that I can be myself. So, it's a beautiful experience. You feel you are not alone. You are enjoying your company. It's not selfish also. It's not selfish, but you must give this time to yourself. Otherwise, we tend to always depend. This dependency on others make you subservient, a slave. You can never enjoy the real freedom.
Yeah, thank you. I really feel very much inspired after listening to you. And I feel that when you said that you should try, I'll definitely try this practicing traffic control, stopping in between of my thoughts. Thank you. When you say that, I know myself better, and rather than other people's commenting on my behavior, my attitude. So is it that I am egoistic about my own self? Or I say, when I say that I know myself better, then I create boundaries and I don't welcome any corrections.
Yeah, it is ego, definitely. Those who know themselves, they will never use that word. They know, that's all. They are wise people. Wise, wise people always are humble. They are open to correction. They have so much of respect for themselves. So when I have respect for myself, I will not object for any correction. I am always aware I am learning. I open for correction. I will not react. But it is ego that makes me say, I know myself and I create boundaries. So then I will not be friend to many. I will become my own enemy. So this is why we should always be humble. And humility comes in our life when we have respect for ourselves. And that respect for the self is developed when I know myself, who I am, what I am, So if I don't know, I will react. And that is why we need that inner space to get to know ourselves better so that we can be ourselves. And one thing that is very important for us in order to develop self-respect is to accept myself, appreciate myself, acknowledge my weaknesses and my specialities. So then I will never develop ego, nor I will develop lack of self-respect.
Great. I was just thinking when you said humility, because sometimes people take advantage of us being very humble, and then at every step and whatever action we perform, they give us correction. So sometimes it might bring my self-respect down rather than uplifting me and being more humble. So I feel that how often should I be humble, or like how should I manage that?
No, it's not question of how often. My personality should be of humility. The greater the person is, the more humble they are. It's not how long and how much. There is no quantity and measure for this. Just like a tree laden with fruit, always bend down, offering sweet fruit to others. A tree which bends down gives shade to others. So because they are giving happiness through their humility, they are not humble. I am not humble because I am, somebody told me something, but I know my specialty, I know my weaknesses. And I always have an attitude of learning. So I pick up good things from everywhere and everyone, and I appreciate them. But at the same time, I will also have respect for the specialty that I have. And I use my specialty as God's gift. So I don't have the ego, God's gift. And so in that way, my specialty will keep on growing, you know. So it is a balance of self-respect and humility. So those who don't have self-respect, they have ego. And those who have ego, they always disrespect others. And they cannot tolerate disrespect. They can disrespect others, but they cannot tolerate disrespect.
Very true. Thank you. Moving forward, like I have another question. Time is money, we say, and space is also money. So what if I can't afford to create a sacred space for myself?
There is no question of not afford. There is no money spent for this. If you want a private physical room for yourself, you may have to spend money. But when you want to find an inner space, a space within you which is untouched, a space within you which is really clean and quiet, you don't have to spend one single cent. All that you need to spend is your valuable time. In that context, you can say time is money. Because it's worth spending that time to create that space so that I can create my life. So there is no question of affording or not affording. Here it is a question of whether I am so keen, I am so interested, I am actually looking forward, I have passion to find that inner space, then I will definitely do it. See, people in olden days, rishis and munis, they never complained that they did not have a space, but they went into the jungle. They found the caves and they sat alone in that cave and meditated for years and years. Like that is why they say that where there is a will, there is a way. So you don't need to worry about affording or not affording, but just check yourself whether I'm really interested, whether I'm really looking for going into my space every now and then. So once you know where is that space, how to go into that, you can be in the midst of a chaos, but you can find the inner space and be quiet and enjoy that silence.
Thank you. So should I allow others into my sacred space? Will others not spoil the sacredness of the space with their different energies, their attitudes?
It's not a physical space again. This is my private room. There's no question of anybody entering. If it was a physical area, it is possible that someone can step in. It's not a physical area, it has no boundaries, no barriers. It's introversion, underground. You go underground. And you are invisible. You are underground. You are saved from all the external attacks. And so you can stay there as long as you want, provided you discover that space through spirituality. You know, so every now and then, all of us have a private room within ourselves. You know, we each one of us, I just need to open doors to get into that room. And meditation definitely allows us, you know, to become introvert, get into that private room, enjoy being with myself, and invoke God to come into my room. So my meditation room becomes a sacred place in the presence of God also. So it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Meera. As you said that I need to spend time to create my sacred space and welcome God in that space. So how much time in all, like during the day, I need to spend to create that space?
Actually, it should be the way of my life. It's not a question of number of hours. You know, when you have loveful relationship with someone, you don't ask that person, how much time should I spend with you? Your question will be, how much time I cannot be without you. So, but I would say to begin with, you know, to get used to, because we are so extrovert, we are so used to enjoy the happiness through the senses and sense organs. And so for us to be silent, even for 5 minutes, is so difficult. Sit quietly in one place is so difficult for somebody. So I would suggest that for in the beginning, start with 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. Being you're on your own, you know, being in your own inner space, in your introversion room. And then slowly increase it after the first month, second month, 20 minutes, twice a day. Then go to half an hour. Then you then you see the difference between the outside world and inside world. You find that so many treasures are there within me. So much pleasure I enjoy when I'm within myself. So then you are tempted to go more inside, even before speaking also. You know, you come from inside out. And so in that way, the situation, which is very complicated, becomes simple. We turn mountain into molehill through our practice of silence. So this is my suggestion for the beginners, 10 minutes twice a day. As I said in the beginning, begin your day. See, 3 things I want to share as a prescription to create a sacred place is 1, begin your day with 1 positive affirmative thought and spend the first 10 minutes being with yourself, pondering over that thought. Secondly, 1 minute every hour, stop. Go within, just be yourself. And then last, the third one, before going to bed. You know, it's very important, the state of mind that you create. So wind up your day by, you know, thanking God, thanking all the people for all that is being given to you. Accept everything that has happened as being very good and forgive people, ask for forgiveness, and full stop. Roll the scroll of the day. Don't carry today for tomorrow. So that is how we should finish our day. That is how we should begin our day and spend the day during the day. If you follow these 3 prescriptions, you don't have to go and find any external space. You will enjoy the sacred place within yourself. And you can be yourself no matter what is happening around you.
Thank you. Thank you for prescribing such a powerful medicine. Sister Meera, although we are sitting so far, like miles apart, but as I speak to you, as you are speaking and I'm listening to you, the energy, the vibration that I experience, it really resonates to serenity and calmness. And I feel, and I'm sure that the audience, the viewers are experiencing the same. So I would like to ask you, is it because of like practicing spirituality from since so many years, or is there some other reason?
So it is based on your attitude towards yourself, attitude towards the person with whom you are conversing, and your state of mind. And so all of us have that awareness that we are souls, and the person with whom we are communicating, they are also souls, and we are peaceful beings. So consciously, unconsciously, or subconsciously, we are aware of it. And so we are emitting that positive vibration that makes people feel lighter, that lightens the atmosphere. Distance does not matter. You know, this spiritual energy is like laser. It can surpass anything. Nothing can stop the laser energy. And so when I have that positive, pure energy created and accumulated within me over a period of time, I can transmit that energy naturally and create an aura around myself, and people can feel no matter how distant they are.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Meera. It was a wonderful time and session with you. I really enjoyed, and I'm sure our viewers have also enjoyed. So, after listening to the whole thing, I would now like to request you to guide us through a meditation. Thank you.
Okay, so before I take you into the journey, we can call meditation as a journey to the source. Meditation is actually right use of the mind. You don't suppress your mind. You don't stop thinking. You channelize the energy of your mind in a positive direction. So let us do that now. Sit relaxed and sit straight. Let your feet be firm on the floor and keep your eyes open, just not naturally. No need to stare at anything, just natural. Naturally keep your eyes open. And I'm going to talk few positive thoughts. Maybe you can repeat those thoughts in your mind as if it is your own thoughts. And so together we will be able to go on in a journey, upward journey and outward journey to experience our connection with the source, the supreme, empower ourselves, and then return with lots of energy. I allow my body to sit comfortably, relax. I turn my mind within. I become aware that I am a being of light, a living energy in the center of my forehead. I visualize myself as a tiny point of light on the screen of my mind. I am light. I am eternal, immortal, imperishable energy. as I focus my thoughts towards this being of light, I journey inwards. I touch the core of this being of light. I discover peace. Vibrations of peace emanates from within and fills my mind. My mind has become like a calm lake. I enjoy these feelings of being at peace with myself. Peace and silence. I dive deeper into my inner space. I discover love. I am a being of love. Love, like the sunshine, envelops the soul. I am love. I love me. In this self-awareness, I feel so much power within myself. And I feel so light and weightless that I can move away from this body. And I see myself floating beyond the pull of this earth. I move beyond the world of cosmos into the region of golden red light. I, the being of light, I am in my home, the soul world. I enjoy these vibrations of silence. In this home of golden red light, I see myself in the presence of the supreme light, the source of peace. I come closer and closer. I connect myself with the supreme light. Like the sun, the supreme light showers so much of light filled with might, filled with peace and love. I am lost in the ocean of light. I become filled with God's light, peace, love, and power. I enjoy this union with the source. I am totally empowered, energized. From a distance, I slowly descend into the corporeal world. I return to my body. I see myself in the center of my forehead, radiating God's peace. love, and light. I am peace. I am love. I am light. I am light. Filled with peace and love which I am radiating out into the world. Om Shanti. 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 Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Meera, for taking us on this journey of sacredness. It was a wonderful experience of meditation. And what I like most from today's talk is the 5 main things that you mentioned about purity, routine, attitude, words, and physical cleanliness. And I also like what you said, that discipline is the true freedom. And spirituality or this sacredness is the way of life. And it's not like for how long or how many days I have to practice. And finally, the prescription that you mentioned, positive affirmation thoughts, 1 minute every hour, I have to stop. And before going to bed, I have to check and then change, and not to take my today to tomorrow. So thank you so much for your powerful message and sharing with us your wonderful insights and being with us this time. Thank you. And thank you everyone for being with us. I trust that we will see you all again next week, same time. Our next week's talk is Making a U-Turn. And Sister Radha from Italy, she'll be sharing with us. Thank you and see you all again. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good night.